"The humans?" whispered Zale, his many eyes flickering in disbelief. "They dare enter the Grand Chamber." "They don't just enter," hissed Clyra, her translucent wings quivering. "They dominate it." A low hum filled the Galactic Council's chamber, vibrating through the crystalline walls like a warning. Silence fell, unnatural and heavy. Then the first human voice broke it, not loud, but deliberate, sharp with unshakable confidence. "I take it the welcome committee is punctual," said Captain Elias Thorne, leaning casually against the chamber's holographic railing. His dark eyes scanned the floating council members, each representing a civilization that had thrived far longer than humanity. "I like punctuality." A ripple of disbelief coursed through the assembly. A human had just joked in front of the Galactic Council. And not just any human, Elias Thorne, whose reputation for audacity and brilliance had reached even the darkest corners of the Orion expanse. Zale's mandibles clicked nervously. "They are primitive." "Primitive?" Elias raised an eyebrow, the corner of his mouth curling. "You call yourself advanced, yet you've been squabbling over star routes for centuries." "Primitive is perspective." Clyra's wings snapped in irritation. "You will regret that tone, human." "I doubt it," Elias said, stepping fully into the chamber, the echo of his boots punctuating his swagger. "I've got 5 minutes before the council's patience evaporates. You may want to sit down, or not. Your choice." The chamber shivered as a sudden pulse raced through the council floor. A projection flickered, showing the edge of a distant galaxy, the Spiral of Veyra collapsing in a violent supernova storm. The council had convened not to admire humans. They had gathered to solve a crisis threatening millions of lives. But Elias had a way of flipping expectation into leverage. Lieutenant Mara Voss appeared at his side, her expression calm, eyes glinting with the same human fire. "Time's ticking," she said softly, yet the weight in her voice betrayed urgency. "They want a solution, not jokes." Elias shrugged, the kind of movement that spoke of endless confidence and calculated risk. "Let them listen. Let them think I'm just human." His gaze drifted to the holographic storm. "They don't realize that humans, we thrive where others panic." Zale leaned forward, his voice trembling. "They cannot comprehend the magnitude of the threat. The spiral will consume planets within days, entire civilizations, obliterated." Elias smiled, not mockingly, but with a quiet certainty that unnerved the aliens. "Days, you say? Good, time is a motivator. Humans don't just survive when the clock is ticking. We invent, improvise, and dominate. You'll see." The chamber's high ceiling fractured with murmurs. Counselors spoke in layered tones, their voices blending into a chaotic melody of fear, arrogance, and anticipation. Some believed humans could not possibly intervene. Others, though fewer, sensed the electric surge of unpredictability in these strange bipedal beings. Mara's hand brushed against the console at Elias's belt, sending a soft beep that synchronized with the holographic storm. "There's something else," she murmured. "This collapse, it's not natural. Someone or something is engineering it." Zale froze mid-click, eyes wide. "Impossible. No species could manipulate a star cluster on such a scale." Elias leaned close, voice low but deadly precise. "Humans don't care what you think is impossible. We care what can be done. And right now we do what must be done." Clyra's wings trembled, not from fear but from the thrill of challenge. "Such arrogance. Such swagger." Elias interrupted, flashing a grin that could slice through steel. "Call it what you want. It's why we survive. Why we laugh while the universe trembles. Watch closely. Maybe you'll learn something." The council floor vibrated again. A low, ominous resonance spread through the chamber. It was not just a warning, it was a countdown. In mere hours, the Spiral of Veyra would erupt fully, its shockwaves threatening distant civilizations. And yet, amid the fear and the trembling alien council, the humans stood unwavering. They laughed quietly, almost audibly, not at the council but at the enormity of the challenge itself. Elias took a step forward, his shadow stretching across the council floor like a promise. "You all will remember this day," he said softly. "The day your mockery was replaced by humanity's laugh." And for the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council realized these humans were not to be underestimated. The chamber darkened as the holographic storm expanded, crackling with energy. Time was running out. Every second now mattered, and somewhere in the depths of the spiral a hidden hand waited, silent, patient, and far deadlier than any human or alien had ever faced. The game had begun. The chamber fell into a tense silence after Elias's words. Outside, the Spiral of Veyra roared like a living beast, stars twisting violently in its core. The humans didn't flinch. They never did. Mara's eyes flicked to the council holograms. Elias, if we miscalculate, billions die, and it won't wait for the council's approval. He turned, expression sharp, shadows cutting across his face. Mara, we don't wait for anyone. Humans act first, talk later. You know that. Zale clicked his mandibles again, louder this time as if trying to drown out their confidence. Your arrogance blinds you. The collapse is accelerating. Our sensors show quantum instabilities forming in minutes. Elias laughed, quiet but unnerving. Minutes, you say? Then we better move faster and smarter. Clara's translucent wings shimmered in the chamber light, her voice slicing through the tension. How can you humans be so calm? We are facing a star cluster disintegrating. Entire systems. We love a challenge, Elias interrupted smoothly, stepping toward the hologram. His fingers traced the glowing spiral, each movement precise. See this? You call it destruction. I call it opportunity. Mara's brow furrowed. Opportunity? Elias, the council thinks you're joking. They think. Humans are fragile, easily broken. But I think differently, he said, cutting her off, a glint in his dark eyes. Humans don't just survive crises. We dominate them. Every obstacle is a puzzle, and I'm the guy who solves it while everyone else panics. A sudden alarm pulsed through the chamber, red light slicing across the walls. The council floor trembled as the spiral's energy spike reached the edge of detection. Zale's voice quivered. It's moving faster than we calculated. The quantum instabilities. They're engineered, Mara finished, eyes narrowing. Someone is controlling it. And they're good. Too good. Elias, this isn't natural collapse. It's a weapon. The words hung in the air like a guillotine. The council murmured, a mix of fear and disbelief vibrating through their alien languages. No one had considered sentience behind the storm. Elias leaned closer to the projection, studying the patterns. A weapon, he murmured, a smirk tugging at his lips. I like that. Someone finally decided to play a proper game, Clara hissed. You treat annihilation as a game. You humans, we think in terms of survival and victory, Elias interrupted. There's a difference. You call it arrogance. We call it instinct. The humans moved in synchronized silence. Mara keyed a sequence on the console. A holographic map of the spiral flashed, highlighting points of energy concentration that defied natural physics. These nodes, they're transmitting some kind of resonance. If we can reverse it, Elias cut in, voice low and commanding. We don't just reverse it. We dominate it. Make it work for us. Humans turn threats into leverage. Always have. Always will. Zale's many eyes widened. Leverage? Against a collapsing star cluster? Impossible. Elias smiled, leaning casually against the console as if discussing the weather. Nothing is impossible. Perspective again. He paused, studying the counselors. You've spent millennia observing the universe, but you forget one thing. Humans think differently. We improvise when you freeze. We adapt when you argue. And right now, adaptation is the only path to survival. The holographic storm pulsated violently, jagged arcs of energy threatening to breach the chamber's shielding. The counselors recoiled. Their fear was palpable, almost tangible. Mara's voice was steady but tense. If we fail, billions die, entire civilizations. You understand that, don't you? Elias turned to her, eyes calm, unwavering. I understand it better than anyone. That's why we'll win. Humans don't wait for miracles. We make them happen. Clara's wings flared in agitation. Such confidence. It is madness. You may survive this, yes, but can you survive the council? Elias chuckled, a sound rich with audacity. The council is irrelevant if the spiral wipes out half the galaxy. Our job is to fix it first, then we can teach lessons. Suddenly the chamber lights flickered. A deep resonance vibrated through the floor. Unlike any previous alarm, the spiral had responded. The nodes were reacting. Someone was aware. Zale's voice dropped to a whisper. They know we are here. They see us. Elias's smirk widened. Perfect. Then the game is fair. And humans, we play to win. The first shockwave hit the edge of the council chamber, rattling consoles and throwing counselors off balance. Panic surged, but the humans remained steady, eyes fixed on the holographic spiral. "Time's less than 2 hours," Mara said, voice clipped, scanning data streams. "If we don't act now." Elias grinned, shadowed by the storm. "Then we act, and you watch humans turn fear into a weapon of their own." The chamber shook again. The council finally understood. These humans weren't just audacious, they were unstoppable. And somewhere deep within the Spiral of Veyra, the unseen enemy tightened its grip, unaware that it had just invited the most unpredictable force in the galaxy to its doorstep. The countdown had begun. Elias leaned over the holographic spiral, tracing the jagged lines with his finger as if they were chess moves. "Every problem has a weak point," he muttered. "Every trap has a key. We just need to find it faster than it finds us," Mara frowned. "This isn't a puzzle. It's a star cluster collapsing. The nodes are quantum-locked and their energy output is off any known scale." Elias smirked. "Exactly. Unknown scale means unknown possibilities. That's where humans shine." Zale's mandibles clicked in nervous rhythm. "You cannot comprehend the energy density. You will be obliterated." "This is challenge," Elias finished, voice calm as if discussing the weather. "And humans? We like a challenge." The council floor vibrated again. This time, the tremor wasn't just in the chamber. It echoed through the councilors' very beings. Alien skin rippled, wings fluttered, and mandibles snapped nervously. The spiral wasn't just collapsing. It was aware of their presence. Someone, or something, was manipulating the storm in real time. Mara's fingers flew over the console. "I'm detecting a pattern. The nodes aren't random. They're coordinated, almost intelligent." Clyra's wings bristled. "Intelligent? You suggest a mind behind this devastation?" Elias' smile widened. "Exactly. And if it has a mind, it also has logic, rules, weaknesses. Humans always exploit logic, always." Zale hissed. "Your confidence will be your downfall." "Perhaps," Elias said, leaning back with casual ease. "Or perhaps it's exactly why we survive where others fail." Mara pulled up an energy map. Lines of interference converged into a hidden core, buried deep within the spiral. "This must be it, the control nexus. If we can access it." Her voice trailed off. The implication was clear. If humans could infiltrate it, they could stop the collapse. Elias's eyes gleamed with that familiar human swagger. "We don't just stop it. We rewrite it. Make it dance to our rhythm." Zale's eyes widened in horror. "You would tamper with stellar forces that dwarf your entire species?" "Madness," Elias shrugged. "Maybe. But humans don't live by your rules. We live by ours. And our rule is survive, adapt, dominate." A sudden tremor rattled the chamber again. Louder this time, and a projection flickered. A brief image of a massive shadow, unlike anything in the council's records. The spiral wasn't just collapsing. It was defending itself, Mara whispered, tense. "Elias, it's alive. Or someone is controlling it directly. Whoever it is. They're watching our every move." Elias tapped his chin thoughtfully. "Good, let them watch. Let them think they control the game. Humans play better when the odds are stacked against us." Zale hissed again. "You underestimate the intelligence behind this. You will be crushed before you even reach the nexus." "Underestimate?" Elias laughed softly, the sound echoing over the council chamber like a challenge. "No, we observe, we adapt, we strike. That's humanity." "You'll see," the council murmured nervously. Some whispered of insanity, others of brilliance. The human duo moved like predators among prey, calm in the face of a storm that had paralyzed some of the galaxy's oldest species. Mara's eyes narrowed. "I've traced the resonance. If we can reverse its polarity at the nexus, we can destabilize the energy flow. But it will take precision. One wrong move, and the spiral will collapse entirely faster than predicted." Elias grinned. "Perfect. Humans thrive on precision under pressure. Give me a timer and I'll turn a death sentence into victory." Zale's antennae twitched in disbelief. "Your audacity is unparalleled. It defies logic, and yet, there is something about it." Clyra's wings fluttered almost involuntarily. "It's terrifying, and yet captivating. They may indeed succeed, or doom us all." The humans moved to the ship hovering just outside the council chamber, a sleek vessel designed for speed and maneuverability. Every instrument, every console, every line of code had been optimized for this singular mission, to reach the spiral's core and wrest control from its hidden mastermind. Mara looked at Elias. Once we enter the Nexus, there's no turning back. Are you ready? Elias's dark eyes gleamed with that trademark human confidence. Ready isn't the word. I've been waiting for this. Humans were made for moments like this. Pressure, chaos, imminent death. That's where we shine. Zale watched, clicking his mandibles so fast it almost sounded like staccato laughter. I cannot believe it. They are unreasonably fearless. Elias turned to the council, voice carrying through the chamber. Remember this. Humanity does not just survive. We conquer, we laugh, and we leave a mark. You will see why mockery becomes fear when humans step into the storm. The ship hummed to life, engines glowing with restrained fury. Mara took her seat, hands steady on the controls while Elias leaned against the console, surveying the storm. Outside, the spiral churned violently, energy arcs snapping across the void. Somewhere within, a hidden mind waited, and somewhere within that same mind, the realization of humanity's audacity had yet to strike. Elias whispered, almost to himself, as the ship pierced the outer edges of the storm. Let's show them what humans can do. The first pulse hit. The journey had begun. The ship sliced through the outer turbulence of the spiral, engines roaring, shields straining against the raw energy that twisted space around them. Elias leaned over the navigation console, eyes dark and focused. Hold steady. The nodes are going to test us. Mara's fingers danced over the controls, her voice calm but urgent. The resonance is shifting. Whoever or whatever is controlling this knows we're here. They're adapting faster than we predicted. Elias smirked. Then we adapt faster. Humans improvise. That's what makes us dangerous. Zale's voice crackled through the chamber comms, sharp and incredulous. You are moving deeper into annihilation willingly. This is madness. You cannot possibly survive the core. Elias's grin widened, shadows cutting across his face. We're not just surviving, Zale, we're taking control. Humans aren't fragile. We're unstoppable when cornered. The ship passed the first energy node, a massive swirl of blinding light and gravitational distortion. Mara adjusted the shields, sending arcs of counter-frequency through the node to dampen its destabilizing force. Sparks flew along the console, and for a moment the ship lurched violently. Node 1 neutralized, Mara announced, breath steady, eyes unflinching. But the next one? It's already reacting. Elias leaned back, fingers steepled. Then we make it react the way we want. Let's teach this spiral how humans handle pressure. The second node surged violently, energy arcs snapping like cosmic whips. The ship trembled, alarms blaring as if the universe itself was protesting. Zale's voice was panicked now. You are courting death. The energy, it will tear your vessel apart. Mara adjusted the polarity in real time, sweat beading on her forehead. Almost got it. Sparks danced across the console as she synchronized with Elias's commands. A pulse of controlled energy radiated outward from the ship. The node flinched. For the first time, the spiral's chaotic force seemed to hesitate. Elias's smirk never wavered. See that? Humans don't panic. We turn threats into leverage. A ripple of tension pulsed through the ship. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed ahead in the swirling core. The spiral's energy seemed to coalesce into a form, vague, shifting, almost sentient. Mara's voice trembled. Elias, it's watching us directly, the nodes. They're feeding it information. It's aware of our every move. Elias's grin grew wider, almost feral. Good, let it watch. The more it thinks it controls, the faster it underestimates humans. Zale clicked his mandibles frantically. You are fools. The presence, it is not merely sentient. It is a predator. You will be consumed. Elias leaned forward, voice low and deliberate. Predators teach lessons too, Zale, and humans? We learn fast. Adapt faster. Dominate fastest. The shadow shifted, sending a pulse of energy that slammed against the ship like a tidal wave. Lights flickered, shields strained, and the hull groaned. Mara's hands were a blur as she countered with precise frequency adjustments. The resonance thinned, and for the first time the shadow recoiled slightly. Elias' grin cut through the alarmed whispers of the council monitors. See that? Even the spiral hesitates when humans take control. This is why we survive. This is why we conquer. Mara glanced at him, worry etched in her features. Elias, we're pushing it. One miscalculation, one wrong pulse, and the core collapses entirely. Everything dies. Then we make no mistakes, Elias said, dark eyes gleaming. Humans don't gamble. We calculate. We improvise. And we dominate. The ship approached the third node, the largest yet. Energy arcs danced like lightning across the void, gravitational distortions bending reality. Mara held her breath, hands steady, while Elias studied the pattern, analyzing the node as though it were a chessboard. "Ready?" he asked, voice calm, almost casual. Mara nodded. "As ready as we'll ever be." With a precise sequence of maneuvers, they synchronized the ship's pulse with the node's chaotic rhythm. The energy surged outward, striking the node's core. For a moment, the universe held its breath. The node shimmered, wavered, and then bent to their will. Zale's voice came through, stunned. "Impossible." "How?" Elias cut him off with a laugh, dark and confident. "Humans, Zale, that's how. We survive when nothing else can. And we don't just survive, we dominate." The shadow ahead pulsed violently, almost in anger. The spiral itself seemed to recoil, but the humans pressed onward. The core was close, and somewhere in the darkness, the true mastermind behind this engineered collapse was waiting, watching, and for the first time, taking note of humanity's audacity. Elias leaned over the console, whispering to Mara, "Let's show it why the universe underestimates humans." At its own peril, the spiral shivered. Time was slipping. The final confrontation was imminent. The ship pierced the heart of the spiral. Outside, the storm boiled violently, energy arcs snapping like cosmic whips, bending light into impossible shapes. Mara's hands were steady, but her jaw clenched as she monitored the core's chaotic resonance. Elias leaned forward, dark eyes reflecting the maelstrom. "This is it. The control nexus. Whoever engineered this. They underestimated humans. Big mistake." Zale's antennae twitched with visible panic. "You are entering annihilation willingly. There is no escape once inside the core." "Escape?" Elias's grin cut across the console like a knife. "We're not here to escape. We're here to dominate. That's the difference between humans and everyone else." The third node had been neutralized, but the core pulsed violently, each beat echoing like the heartbeat of a living predator. Mara keyed a series of fine-tuned resonance pulses, each one probing, testing, destabilizing. The shadows within the spiral shifted in response, forming patterns that were almost communicative. Elias's gaze sharpened. "Intelligence. Definitely intelligence. It's not random. Someone or something is thinking. Good. Humans love a challenge that requires thinking." Clyra's voice crackled across the council link. "Thinking. It is not merely intelligence, it is a weapon. You are tampering with forces beyond comprehension. Do you not feel the danger?" Elias chuckled softly. "Danger is our playground." He leaned closer to the holographic interface. "Mara, focus on the resonance. I'll anticipate the reactions. Let's make it dance." A sudden pulse struck the ship. Shields flared, alarms shrieked, and the floor beneath the council chamber trembled as the spiral tried to expel the intruders. Mara's pulse adjustments countered the attack, but for a heartbeat the ship lurched violently. Zale hissed, "You are doomed. Even humans cannot survive this." Elias' grin only widened. "Watch closely, Zale. Humans can survive it, and more. We adapt while others freeze." Mara's voice was tight with concentration. "I've located the Nexus's core node. It's protected by nested resonance layers. If we can destabilize the innermost layer, then it obeys us," Elias finished. "Exactly. Humans don't just face threats. We turn threats into tools." The core shivered as the resonance pulses infiltrated its layers. Shadows writhed and twisted, forming jagged silhouettes that hinted at the entity controlling the spiral. Something vast, something patient, something that had anticipated nearly every move until now. "Elias," Mara whispered, tension in her voice. "It's reacting unpredictably, the node. It's trying to replicate our pulses, counter them in real time." Elias leaned back, voice low and calm. "Humans don't panic when the rules change. We improvise. We dominate. Let it replicate. It's learning our way. And humans learn faster than any machine or alien intelligence." A shockwave pulsed through the ship, rattling consoles. Sparks flew. The shadows coalesced into a monstrous form, something humanoid, yet impossibly vast, made of swirling energy and twisting light. Zale recoiled in fear. It knows you." Elias' grin was steady, almost serene. "Of course it knows me. But it doesn't know humans. Not yet." He slammed his hand onto the main console, sending a counterpulse that synchronized with Mara's adjustments. The energy forms writhed violently, struggling to maintain cohesion. Mara's eyes widened. It's destabilizing. The inner layer is responding to us, but it's fragmenting. If we push just a bit more, then it's ours, Elias said, voice calm, certain, magnetic. Mara, give me everything. Every pulse. Every counter-frequency. Let's show this thing why humans survive against impossible odds. Zale's voice quavered. You cannot comprehend its intelligence is beyond survival. You will be obliterated! Elias leaned forward, eyes blazing. And yet here we are alive, Zale. Humans survive where logic fails, where fear dominates. That's why we win. That's why the universe will remember our laugh while others tremble. A final pulse radiated from the ship. Perfectly synchronized. The shadows screamed silently, twisting in agony as the core node fragmented under human control. The spiral's energy arcs fractured, the storm inside bending to the will of the two humans. Zale went silent. Clara's wings fluttered in shock. The council could hardly believe what they were witnessing. Elias turned to Mara, dark eyes gleaming. We're not done yet, but we've made them understand one simple truth. The universe underestimates humans at its own peril. Outside, the spiral trembled, but the humans pressed onward, deeper into the core. Somewhere in that darkness, the mastermind had been watching, and for the first time it realized, humans did not play by the rules. They made their own rules. The core of the Spiral of Veyra shimmered like molten glass, energy twisting in impossible geometries. The shadows within were no longer just patterns. They had become a presence pulsing with awareness, intelligent and deliberate. Mara's fingers flew across the console, synchronizing pulses with Elias's commands, each movement precise yet instinctive. Elias leaned over the holographic interface, dark eyes sharp. This is it, Mara. Whoever or whatever is controlling this. We're face to face now. And humans? We don't flinch in the face of the impossible. Zale's voice trembled over the comms. You are walking into the maw of annihilation willingly. This entity, it has consumed civilizations, entire fleets. Then it hasn't faced us yet, Elias said, leaning back, voice calm and confident. Humans aren't just survivors. We dominate, and it's about to learn that lesson. Mara's eyes widened as the core pulse shifted. Elias, it's interacting with us, responding to our frequencies. It's intelligent, yes, but it's almost... Curious? Curious? Elias smirked. Good. Curiosity is the first step to underestimating humans. Let's exploit that. The shadows coalesced into something enormous, humanoid but fluid, almost alive in its energy form. Its voice vibrated through the ship, resonant, omnipresent. Intruders. You dare challenge me? Elias leaned forward, voice unwavering. We don't challenge. We conquer. Humans don't bow. We survive, we adapt, and we dominate. Mara's hands trembled slightly as she adjusted the final pulse. It's countering everything we do. If we miscalculate, then we improvise, Elias said, cutting her off. Humans turn impossibilities into opportunity. The entity's form pulsed violently, a ripple of distortion that threatened to collapse the very fabric of the spiral. Energy arcs struck the ship, each one calculated, almost surgical. Mara's adjustments kept them just out of harm's way. Zale's antennae twitched in panic. You cannot comprehend the force you face. One wrong move, then we make no wrong moves, Elias said, dark eyes gleaming. Humans never do, not when everything else freezes. Watch closely. He slammed his hand onto the console, sending a massive synchronized pulse through the ship. The entity writhed, its humanoid energy form contorting under the strain. Its voice vibrated in fury and awe. You are not like the others. How? Humans, Elias said simply, voice cutting through the chaos. We don't follow rules. We make rules. Mara added a subtle adjustment, fine-tuning the counter-frequency. The core's internal resonance faltered, arcs of energy bending around the human's influence. The entity's massive form flickered, destabilizing. Zale hissed, disbelief in every click. Impossible. It adapts faster than any intelligence should. It's not just adapting, Elias said, leaning back, shadows dancing across his face. It's learning our way. Humans are unpredictable, Zale. That's our advantage. That's why we win. The spiral's core pulsed violently, trying to reassert control, but Elias and Mara pressed onward. The entity screamed, if it could scream, its energy form unraveling as the synchronized pulses tore through its protective layers. Mara's voice was steady, precise. Elias, the final sequence. We can destabilize the nexus completely, force it to collapse in on itself, but it's risky. One misalignment. Elias' grin widened. Then we make no misalignment. Mara, execute. Let's show it why humans survive where others fail. The pulses resonated through the spiral, arcs of light fracturing and bending as the entity writhed, energy forms splintering. The ship trembled violently, alarm screaming, but the humans pressed forward with uncanny precision. The entity's voice, now a distorted echo, vibrated in awe and fury. How do you are humans, Elias said, leaning over the console, calm as the maelstrom threatened to tear them apart. We adapt. We dominate. And we laugh while the universe trembles. With a final pulse, the nexus fractured. Energy arcs collapsed inward. The core destabilized, and the spiral storm began to obey their control. The entity, the mastermind behind the engineered collapse, shrieked in silent defeat, fragments of its energy form scattering into nothingness. Zale's mandibles clicked frantically, speechless. Clara's wings trembled in awe. Even the council observers could barely comprehend what had just occurred. Elias straightened, voice calm but echoing with power. That is why humans survive. That is why we dominate. And that is why the universe should never mock humanity again. Mara exhaled, tension leaving her shoulders. We did it. The spiral. It's stable, controlled. Elias' dark eyes scanned the remnants of the storm. Not just controlled. We've rewritten it. Humans don't just solve crises, we own them. Zale was silent, unable to formulate words. The council had witnessed something beyond comprehension. Humans, fragile in appearance, audacious in action, had faced annihilation itself, and emerged not just victorious, but unshaken. Outside, the spiral calmed, arcs of energy settling into harmonious patterns, now a testament to human ingenuity and unyielding spirit. Elias whispered, almost to himself, a quiet, dangerous smile on his face. And that is how humans laugh at the impossible. The universe would remember. The Spiral of Veyra glowed in calm brilliance, no longer a maelstrom of chaos but a testament to the human's triumph. Outside the ship, distant stars blinked as if in acknowledgement, galaxies whispering their surprise. Mara exhaled slowly, eyes lingering on the now stable core. It's done. The spiral's under control. Elias leaned back, dark eyes scanning the glowing vortex. Done? No, mastered. Humans don't finish things. We conquer them. That's the difference. Zale's antennae drooped, disbelief etched in every movement. I cannot understand it. You faced forces beyond comprehension, and yet, Elias interrupted, voice calm and magnetic. We adapted. We survived. We dominated. That's human nature, Zale. While others hesitate, humans act. While others panic, humans improvise. And while others fear, humans laugh. The council holograms flickered, dozens of alien species staring, unable to hide awe or fear. Some whispered, some recoiled, some simply stared, realizing the audacity of what they had just witnessed. The humans had faced annihilation itself and emerged not as survivors, but as masters. Mara shook her head, voice quiet but firm. We took a risk no one else could have. And we succeeded. But I still don't understand why humans, why you, can remain so calm under pressure. Elias's grin was faint, almost private. Because fear is a choice. Panic is optional. And humans, we don't let the universe dictate our limits. We define them ourselves. That's why, Mara, we always have the last laugh. The spiral pulsed gently, no longer violent but alive in a way that was almost respectful. Its fragments, scattered energy forms from the mastermind entity, drifted silently in the void, powerless, unthreatening. Humanity had turned a weapon of mass annihilation into a living monument to their ingenuity. Zale finally found his voice, trembling, broken. I underestimated you. All of you. Your species. It is unlike anything we have ever known. Clara's translucent wings shimmered faintly in the hologram light. Perhaps we have misjudged humanity, the arrogance we perceived. Maybe their survival instinct, their brilliance. Elias leaned over the console, voice low and precise. Call it arrogance if you like. We call it instinct. Humans thrive in the impossible. We invent, we adapt, we dominate. And when the universe thinks it can mock us, we remind it who's in charge. Mara gave a small smile. You're reckless, Elias, but brilliant. I'll take that as a compliment, he said lightly, voice carrying quiet triumph. Reckless only matters if you fail. Humans fail, rarely, and when we do, we come back stronger. That's why the universe should never mock humanity again. Zale and Clara exchanged glances, something between awe and fear reflecting in their alien features. The Council had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans were unpredictable, unstoppable, and, above all, relentlessly resilient. Elias turned to Mara, eyes scanning the calm spiral. And somewhere out there, whoever engineered this collapse, they're learning the same lesson. Humans aren't just survivors. We're the universe's wild card. And wildcards always win in the end. Mara nodded, voice calm but heavy with relief. Then let's return to the Council. Let them witness it. Let them see what humans can do. The ship glided outward, leaving the core behind. The spiral shimmered behind them, no longer a threat but a monument to audacity, intelligence, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. The Council would speak of this day for centuries, not just as a warning, but as a revelation. Elias leaned against the console, voice quiet but firm. You remember this, Mara. The universe will always underestimate humans until it learns our laugh. Our confidence, our instinct to survive and dominate, that's the true power of our species, and no one can ever take that away. Outside, stars gleamed like eyes witnessing the humans' quiet triumph. Somewhere in the galaxy, a silent mind, the mastermind who had orchestrated the spiral's collapse, observed too, realizing the truth too late. Humanity could never be predicted, controlled, or mocked, and for the first time in eons, the universe trembled, not at the spiral, not at warships or fleets, but at the audacity of one species, one people, whose laugh echoed louder than any force in existence. Elias's grin was the last thing the Council would see before the humans vanished into the vast expanse, leaving only a legacy. When the universe challenges humanity, humanity answers with brilliance, courage, and laughter, and sometimes that's all it takes to dominate the stars.